welcome back to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and I went to college in Michigan. Hey, what it do, baby? What it do? How y'all doing? It's been a minute since I talked to the camera. I think the last time I spoke to the camera was whenever the Bears played the Packers and the Bears won. Hey, that's go crazy. You know what I mean? Good for y'all. I don't know anything else about football truly, so damn, that's crazy. Positive or negative connotation, depending on however you look at it. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. It's been a minute. I went on my birthday trip and we had so much fun. I will go through that here in a little bit. And I came home and your birthday is just like at least for me, it's an emotional thing. Like, those who choose to show up for you, it's emotional and like, oh, thank you so much that you took time out of your day to intentionally wish me a happy birthday. And thank you for that. And getting to spend it with like some of my faves, just like, I don't know, that is the discussions of what our lives are going to be looking like in the next few years and what next chapters are going to be opening up for us in the next couple years and that sort of thing. That's crazy, so I came home a little tired, and if you hear my dryer in the background, sorry. I was like, oh. Anyway, so I think, I don't know, I came home exhausted, and then it sucks, bro. We're gonna talk about like ghosts of birthdays past. That's one of the things that I want to talk about today, of like some of the horror birthdays that I've had in the past, or just one of the horror birthdays that I've had in the past. I figured that'd be a fun way to like commemorate my birthday, in addition to just talking about the fun weekend that I had for my birthday. But now that it's been like a couple years removed and everyone is in better places than we were during that time period, I think it's fun to reminisce now and be like, wow, at one point things were a lot worse, huh? And so, okay, you always notice like the one person who you want to wish you a happy birthday and doesn't, right? Of course, there's always got to be one, or one person that like means a lot to you who just does not care the way that you think that they should, or whatever. And that's like no tea, no shade on them or the fact that they actually care about you. It is just like, I think that's a hard part about birthdays, in the, if you do not commodify, but like if you do make a bigger deal of your birthday and your friend's birthday, I think there leaves more room for there to be disappointment, right? So that's like a downfall, I guess. I have such a fun time always on my birthday that like I always think it's worth whatever pitfalls come along the way. But that's me. Anyway, so I had to have like an emotional fucking conversation about that sort of shit. And I don't know, man. I've just like really, I think my body sort of finally gave out on me. I've sort of been going, I haven't been, but my brain has been sort of working in overdrive the last like, I want to say month and a half, 2 months. As it relates to just like overthinking in general, as it relates to work, as it relates to everything. We sort of talked about that a little bit. I get very reflective during this time period. And in addition to that, like, I at the end of this last year, this is when like a lot of people go on vacation, and so like the people who are there um to hold down the fort like are spread sort of thin, right? And that's just like the way that it goes. So I was dealing with that, and I'm sort of dealing with, I guess, like the aftershocks of that. And my body just sort of was like, nah, bitch. Like, I think the weather has a little bit to do with it. If you are living in the Midwest, you know that it's been like, it hasn't been above 0 degrees Fahrenheit in like, I don't know, a week. And that, I think that pressure really fucks with my head. And so like, I've been dealing with a lot of like head hurt in the last couple days, and I've been sort of dealing with that and trying to get over that and really just like resting, because I don't think that I've allowed myself to get like productive rest where I'm actually just like sitting there and being like, just sit here and not, maybe not feel sorry for yourself, but just sit here and like sulk a little bit. It's okay. Like, you've been overextending in these certain areas for the last month and a half, and now it's okay to like take a step back. You know, like, you've done what you need to do, and you've shown what you need to show, and like now just like relax, let your nervous system like fucking calm down, you know. So I've been doing that. And with that, this weekend I like tried to do a pretty deep clean. It's not, I'm not like all the way there. I needed to record the podcast while the sun was still out. Cause I've been having lighting issue, you know, my shit isn't nice shit, y'all. Like, it's not nice shit, but like, the I'll be just using like a little ring light, you know. So I got to invest a little bit more. I invest in like small increments for the pod. I got like a new tripod, like stand, and some new lighting and that sort of thing. So I'm excited for that stuff to come, but it's not in yet. So I needed to record because the ring light only works sometimes. It is working right now, but it only works sometimes. Um, and Yeah, so I needed to record with the intentions of like the light not working. And so here we are. We're doing it. And I don't know. I might continue to clean, I might not. Being an adult is whack, bro. It's just real fucking whack. And like, it's hard because like I'm trying my best right now to fucking just like make it through the day whilst that shit's happening. Like, federal like authoritarian soldiers are out in the streets fucking murking civilians. And like, I'm trying to get my mental health together, but how the fuck am I supposed to get my mental health together when we see the horrors that persist every fucking day? It just like doesn't. I actually need to take a break about it. Listen. So in Minneapolis, I don't know if this happened. Today's currently Sunday, so I'm thinking, I think it happened Friday or Saturday or yesterday. I don't exactly remember. But it was at like 9 in the morning. It was in broad daylight. Like, there was like 7 ICE agents from the footage. I I'm really sensitive to that sort of stuff, so it's hard for me to watch the footage in its entirety and not like look away. Even when I watch like horror films, like, if something is too gruesome, like, I love horror films, I just need to, and I mean like gory, where it in like I can handle some real gruesome shit, like, for example, in Midsummer when they like skin him, like, I don't know, I can handle that sort of stuff. But gore, for like what seems like it's for gore's sake. And when that sort of reaction gets triggered for me, I know that that means that it feels excessive, and that there's it triggers my empathy, and not like my intrigue of the gruesome thing that's happening. And it's just really hard because they're targeting protesters. So really the message is that you need to shut the fuck up and conform, right? That is these are not like obviously. Also in the news this week was Liam, I don't know his last name, like a 5-year-old little boy who got like detained, who's going to be used as like bait for his family. And now he's like in Texas somewhere or something. Like, I don't actually know the story. Let me not misspeak actually, but it's real sinister. And I hate what it is. I don't know what do we do? How do we generally strike? Do we all just stop going to work? Do we all just like what's really going to do some shit? Like back in them days, motherfucker, they dumped that motherfucking tea. What do we do? What do we do? And it's gonna take more than it's gonna take white people to go and do it too. You know what I mean? And so they are starting to shoot white people. So like maybe more white people will actually start caring, and that would be super beneficial to the cause. Like the best that I do is I try to support local. I tried to put my money places that aren't big corpo, like, but it feels like actually I really enjoyed Bernie Sanders was just on Theo Von again, and I don't really watch Theo Von very often anymore. But they had some really good conversations, and Theo Von asked a lot of questions. You know what I really hate about Theo Von is he markets himself as like a regular guy. That motherfucker has interviewed the richest men in the world. Do not ever like he's like regular people, man. I understand what he's trying to do and I respect him for it. And it is so dystopian to me that comedians are the journalists that get to interview the most important people in the world. That is so fucking crazy to me. But we are in such a society where media needs to be so manufactured and so PR approved. And so, like, that is the only place in which these people can basically just like here are the stipulations in which I will come onto this and I will not come on to this podcast unless basically I know for sure that I'm not going to be put in these compromising positions. I think that has really done a huge detriment to journalistic integrity as a whole, and that's devastating for the future of what like the truth even means. How did I get there? Anyway, Theo Von and Bernie Sanders had a pretty good conversation. And he did ask some good questions. I can tell he was very prepared, and his team, whoever puts together that stuff for him, because it's not Theo Von. Whoever puts that shit together for him did a really great job. Like, he has some good researchers, and like hopefully at least a real journalist or two in the back end that is working to get those sort of conversations happening. So I'll link that. Check that out. And maybe I'm the piece of shit also, because like I also don't seek out the news outside of like some of the Instagram accounts that I follow and like that sort of thing. Like I get a lot of my news from Instagram, like NPR, like Wisconsin Public Radio, Illinois Public. Like I do follow some like political accounts in those contexts. But I don't know. Um it's just really hard to focus on anything other than the demise of democracy like in our country. Like to put it plainly, like it's really hard to focus on anything else and to not want to be out and protesting and um wreaking havoc. And I know that the violence is going to get worse before it gets better. I said that a couple weeks ago or whenever I said it. Um, and that's scary, but I really do have a lot of hope for, I think, as terrible as it is, um, I hope that this fuels. I read this article also. I'll see if I can find it. I think it was on Substack. So maybe it was just like someone's essay. But they didn't I think I read it on Facebook, but it was from Substack. I don't know. About how there's never going to be a crime that's enough for those who benefit the from this institution that serves them. And so I think from watching, like, we need to stop. From my perception, it almost seems like now it's still harming at this point. Like, we need to get to a place where they just leave people the fuck alone, bro. Like, it's so devastating. I don't even have like words. Once we're at a point where Trump dies or whatever the case may, whatever big event happens where finally this authoritarian regime is fucking dismantled, right? And I promise you, when history starts to understand, when we start to look at this time retroactively and we say, wow, that time period was really scary. How didn't we see it? It was so hard to tell. Uh, uh, uh. No. Anyway, I think for me, once the violence stops, because that's the first goal, right? Then it's creating community services that are not institutionally backed, and stop expecting the institutionally backed, because it's not built to serve the types of communities that it ought to. And so for me, once violence stops, then it's creating community assets. So that's my next steps as it relates to the fuck is going on in this goddamn country, you know? So I don't know, man. My 27th birthday was fun. I went to Cedar Rapids, and I hung out with Bestie, and we went to Waterloo, and we went to their little art gallery there, and that was super fun. They had cute little instruments on the outside, and one of my favorite parts of the weekend was me and Besties in sub-zero degrees. Um, we were beating our little hearts out. You know what I mean? On those little fun instruments, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to spend that time with them. Then we had some pizza at the house, and we played Mario Party, and we had a nice night, y'all. We did some crafting that weekend. I don't know. I got to spend some time with my loved ones, and that's all I really need and all I really ask for. Um, on my Sometimes I'll be asking for more. Hey, sometimes I'll be asking for more, but um for like non-big birthdays, for my 25th we did sort of pop out. That is not the birthday that we are going to talk about today. So for our Ghosts of Birthdays Past segment, we are going to talk about my 23rd birthday. It was my last birthday in college. It was in January of 2022. We were doing hybrid school, so we were going to school sometimes, but if we could do online classes, we could, or like we did. It was my last birthday of college. I don't know if I already said that. So my besties said we were gonna go out with a bang, and my birthday is always on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Okay, or it's always like around it. So I usually get a 3-day weekend for my birthday, and so here's how the weekend here's how the weekend transpired. Okay, so earlier in the weekend, so there was this man. If you are a like OG of the podcast, like I'm talking before we had video episodes, um if you have been listening to this podcast since its origin, you will remember that I was in love with someone in college, and specifically my last year of college. Um, but anyway, he had just sort of made it official with his girlfriend, and they had been on and off like talking, I think, since the summer. Okay, but during that semester they had made it official. They had been through some bumps in the road, but they had gone on like a big trip during winter break. And during their big trip during winter break, um, there was a time period where he was texting me, and all of a sudden I had, so this is all relevant. This is relevant to my birthday, I promise. um so he had gone on like a big long road trip with this woman, and all of a sudden I get a text message from her work phone, and it was him letting me know that he didn't have reception, and like checking in on me, and like letting me know that that's why he wasn't answering. And I was like, yeah, I don't care, you could have texted me back whenever, because we weren't dating, so why would I give a fuck when you respond to my fucking text messages, bruh? And not to be like, I don't know, just like, you hold no obligation to me. Why are you texting me off of your girlfriend's work phone? That's crazy. But I digress. Fast forward a little bit. We both come back from winter break. We're both the first person each other sees when we go back to our college town after winter break. When we see each other, we go to dinner with one another. And when we see each other, he gives me a Christmas gift, and he lets me know that it's the same Christmas gift that he had gotten his girlfriend. Does that sound crazy to y'all or just me? Right. Diabolical. Okay. And then a little bit before my birthday, I think it was like the week of my birthday, he lets me know that his girlfriend, obviously, because she's heard my name quite a bit now at this point, would like to meet me. So he asked me to go to dinner alone with him and his girlfriend on my birthday. Mind you, I was in love with him. So I timidly say, fine. Okay. And I invite our mutual best friend and her girlfriend, because I was like, I need to have some buffers there. And like, my best friend didn't exactly know that I was in love with him yet, because like, she was really close with him too, and I didn't want to put her in that position, but like, her girlfriend knew. Like, her girlfriend knew I was in love with him. Like, Cause like we're girls, bro. Like we can tell. Duh. Of course, like this person, he and I's relationship was like very. He to his credit, he is one of the first people who ever like men who made me understand what sort of love I will need and from somebody someday. And so as much as like the shit that he pulled here was crazy, I also understand that like we were young, dumb, and stupid, you know, and really dealing with emotions, things popping up in our adulthood sort of for the first time, and like bad coping mechanisms, dealing with like really complex feelings, that sort of thing. I think neither of us really knew how to handle the depth of what we felt for one another. And like that's like truly for me when I look back at this time period, I'm just always like, oh, those poor kids, you know, like anyway. So I'm like fine, I'll go to dinner during my birthday weekend with you and your girlfriend, but I am going to bring our best friend and her girlfriend, okay? And so we make those plans, I think, at the beginning of the week. Thursday, we always went out for pitcher night, which is where you get like a pitcher of whatever you want, Long Island's being one of them, if you so choose, um, of a mixed drink. And I think it was only like $6. So we would go for pitcher night, and it was my birthday weekend. So, of course, we were going for pitcher night. We did that. I think I had at least a pitcher, if not two. And then Friday night, the rugby house, the girls' rugby house, threw me a birthday party. And my best friend from upstate New York, she was going to Cornell at the time. She traveled all the way back to come for my birthday, her and her boyfriend at the time. So she drove through Friday, and I had dinner with um the man I was in love with in college. We'll call him John Deere for now. With John Deere, his girlfriend, and then besties. I had to go to I went we went to the sushi restaurant. He could tell the whole time that I was uncomfortable. I was literally just trying to make it through. Mind you, like I'm hungover from pitcher night. Um but so we go to dinner. I'm uncomfortable, literally just trying not to cry the whole time. And my best friend just drove in from 9 hours away. I want to go see her. But I'm sitting through this dinner with these people I don't want to be sitting with right now. And we have fun. Like it was whatever. I was not myself. And so Homegirl didn't even get to see the charmer that her boyfriend was also in love with. Like she didn't even get to understand why he was in love with me for real. She didn't even get to see my sparkle, bitch. And I cried all the way to my best friends after. So after dinner, we decide that the rugby we're all gonna meet back at the rugby house, and we're gonna have like a little like kickback, and we do that. And um it takes John Deere and his girlfriend like an hour and a half to get there. So like we're like either they're fucking or like they're arguing. It could have been both. I don't know. But that's what me and Bestie at the time had decided. And considering John Deere came into that party doing two shots at a time, I would say that it was probably some rough shit was happening in his psyche during that time period, you know? Um and so I don't know, we all drink at the rugby house. Um I kick ass at Guitar Hero. I show all those motherfuckers who I am for real at Guitar Hero. Um and at some point, because John Deere was playing beer pong and like got because he was taking two shots at a time, he got drunk relatively quickly. Mind you, John Deere's girlfriend at the time didn't drink. So she was stone cold sober, watching her boyfriend follow me around like a little puppy dog, bro. Can you imagine like how devastating that would be as a girlfriend to watch whatever? And I didn't know, like, I was too young to really know how to handle it in a way that didn't hurt her and me and make me lose my friend. Because at the time, I wanted him and I to be friends at least. Um, and man, it was just like, God, it was a nightmare, you know? Oh, and then, bro, we go to a strip club. Almost forgot. Yeah, after that whole escapade ends, we go to me, bestie's boyfriend, and a bunch of the rugby girls. We all go to a strip club. And that was my first time ever at a strip club. And bestie's boyfriend got me a lap dance, okay? And if you know me, you know I have problems with intimacy. If you know me, you know that like touching people being near me is a lot. Like, and so like as much as I appreciate like the broy thing that he was trying to do for like his best friends, like by queen best friend, you know what I mean? I literally like it in the like little cubby hole they put you in, bro. He like walked me to the back and like I got placed in a cubby hole. Um I just like watched her, and at the end like I gave her money. I like handed it to her. I told her she was so beautiful. She did such a great job and that I was proud of her, and I ran away. So, and that was just in like the 18 plus side where they could be like fully, actually, I don't know. There was like an 18 plus side and that could be like fully nude. And then there was the 21 plus where you could drink, but it was just like lingerie. So I was bouncing between the two because some of the rugby girls that we brought were like young. um and so I went over to the other side, and Bestie had like 3 drinks lined up for me. She's like, I've been telling people it's your birthday. So like I've been collecting shots for you. It was just it was a crazy time. And then so from there, we just like go home. I'm sad about the shit, but I'm okay with dealing with it, right? I'm like, whatever, we will address this when the weekend closes. Like right now I'm just trying to enjoy like my friend's presence, you know? And so that's just Friday night, okay? So that's day 2 of the bender. Then on Saturday, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think I threw up out, like I had my friend pull over on the side of the road so I could throw up. That might have been that day. But yeah, we like had breakfast, we like chilled for most of the day. And then I had to go home and prepare because I had some of my best friends from home from Stager were coming up too. And Bestie Tarsh, who moved back to Malaysia, he was throwing me a party on Saturday. We had to get prepared for that. So we pre-gamed a little bit, like that sort of thing, and then we headed over to Bestie Tarsh's and we partied some more. Um and that was fun. About, I don't know, I want to say halfway through, and Tarsh would, if he were here, he'd correct me because he was a little angry because he threw me a party and I left. But I showed up to his wedding, so he can shut the fuck up. That so yeah, he was like, I threw you a party with all my friends, like white girls leaving my party, like he was a little mad at me, but we did end up going to the gay bar in Kalamazoo. So there isn't like an official gay bar, but one of the like restaurants slash bars, they'll do a gay night a week. So we ended up going to that, and we had so much fun. We danced our ass off. Like, we had such an amazing time. However, my best friend at the time's girlfriend like yelled at her in the bathroom, like, and we all were there. Like, anyway, so there was like extra drama with that. And it was just a crazy, that's day 3 of my bender, bro. Like, was like having to deal with my hearing my friend get like verbally assaulted in front of me. So it was just like rough part of the night, and I don't know. By Sunday, bitch, I was exhausted. And then guess what? We all got COVID because of it. We all got COVID because of that fucking weekend. So, oh my God, I had to go to my college's like pull up where you like literally drive up and they put that shit in your nose. And then from there, you get like a red badge because you had to like badge into school every day during COVID. You got like a red badge and you couldn't go to class for like 2 weeks. And like I sat in my apartment and just like mourned the loss of John Deere. Dun dun dun. Isn't that the craziest shit you've ever heard in your life? I just needed to replay that for you guys because like I was like, what the hell am I gonna talk about this week? And I was just like, I should just talk about like the craziest birthday I've ever had. And it was my 23rd birthday. I've had other like crazy birthdays as far as like partying, getting drunk, that sort of thing. But like that was just like by far the most chaotic, most like whirlwind. I'm so glad that I experienced it, but I'm glad that it's over type shit that ever happened to me. And yeah, I don't know. I actually don't want to go through all the books that I want to read this year. I'm too tired to do that. So sorry, team. But that's sort of all for now. I love you guys.